You are now listening to Between Us Girls, the podcast, where we discuss life's fuckeries and then some over wine.
Hey, welcome to our show. This is Michelle.
Danielle.
And Sharonda.
And this is
Between Us Girls.
And if you stumbled upon our show by mistake, as always, thank you for continuing to listen. And you can listen to us on SoundCloud, Stitcher Radio, Google Play, and iTunes. And we're also on all the other podcast listening apps. For those of you who have deep pockets and a giving spirit, you can also find us on Patreon. That's going to be www.patreon.com/betweenusgirls. And any amount is appreciated.
Just pass that collection plate.
Yes.
Pass it to your mama.
Yes.
And your daddy.
Right. Just get someone's credit card and just
Run
kidding.
free with it. Yeah.
This week, our fan of the week is Mr. Thing O Juice himself, Mark Smith.
Thing of juice.
Woo, woo, woo. Thank you, Mark, for always being an avid listener.
He's also shares it with his friends.
Yes, he does.
And tries to get other people to listen, which is really cool.
And an important part of being fan of the week.
Exactly.
And
right.
he capes for
Yeah.
us. We like that.
Right. Like that's what makes you fan of the week material, is when you're really going above and beyond for the girls. So thank you.
We appreciate you, Mark.
Thing of juice.
This week we had a iTunes review contest. The winner said some really nice things about me personally. And that person is Misty Williams. Thank you, Misty, for what you said about my singing voice. I really appreciate the accolades.
She said something about Jesus.
Yeah, she
I
said
can't
something
remember
like,
what she said.
I sound like singing Jesus or something. I don't know. Anyway, I really appreciated it. It made my day.
Wow.
Yeah, I was talking to her, and I was like, when I read it, I was like, this ain't nobody but me.
I know.
Saying this shit, talking about some damn Jesus or whatever, Michelle singing. And I was like, really? And I asked her, she was like, maybe.
So it was her. You know, at first I was like, oh my God, a stranger really likes me.
I told her, I was like, you know what? I'm going to I said, you know how much of a giver I am. I'm going to let Michelle continue to think that a random person really loves her singing right now because I care so much. You see how I gave to you like that?
Thank you.
I let you have that moment.
Yeah, you did. And then you were like, but also it was just missing. So
I gave you a whole day though.
yeah, you did.
Yeah.
All right. So before we get into our show, what are we sipping on?
What does this say? I didn't even try to figure this out before I got here. Reserve Special Barons de Rothschild. Jesus, that's a mouthful. Anyway, vintage 2014. It is a Bordeaux, and it's actually two grapes, 60% Semillon and 40% Sauvignon. This is a white wine, and for my alcoholics, 11.5% alcohol by volume. Womp womp.
Deep fucking sigh.
Womp womp.
So water.
We'll do better next time. I'm sorry.
It's cool. It's cool. Everybody can't get to almost 14%. You know what I'm saying? Everybody. Are we using the scorecard, or is that good or not?
You know we got to use the scorecard. Don't even
Okay.
play.
I roll with
Get
good or
this
not.
shit in order. Let's just get it in order.
Or no.
Okay. Well, for those who are using the wine scorecard, we'll be rating the wine based on appearance, aroma, body, finish, and taste. Everybody swirl your wine. It smells like wine.
Wow.
Okay.
It has like a kind of a musk smell.
Oaky taste.
Yeah. Okay, but we'll wrap that up.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll talk about what our actual scores are at the end of the show. And remember, our individual scores can only go up to 25. Don't I sound like a game show host?
Right.
Exactly.
Okay, so excited for our guest tonight. Our dear Ferny has returned. Yay. For those who know, episode 13 and 14 of our show do feature Fernando. He is a psychic medium and Reiki healer. And he has a really fun and educational YouTube channel, and he has a couple different shows on there. If you look really closely, you might see me.
Oh, God.
She's like, bitch, I'm famous.
Bitch, I'm famous. Bitch. And also, he's currently working on offering a psychic education and online development class, because he did tell us before that everyone has the potential. You just got to tap on into it. So,
Like that.
today he's going to sit with us to talk about developing a strong sense of self and using that sense of self versus, you know, kind of what's drilled into you as a child or as an adult by others. And then after that, we're going to like really turn on the fun and play a game.
Oh my God, you sound like a teacher. We're going to turn on the fun.
4 out of 5 of the co-hosts on the show had me fucked up. So, let's talk about developing a strong sense of self.
Well, first of all,
Welcome.
Hey, Fernando.
Hi.
Welcome.
I'm like, whatever, Fernando's here.
I know, she's like, I'm like a light switch. Okay, Ferny, go. I'm like, oh, Lord, we already had this
yourself on.
conversation.
Right.
We already talked about this on an episode of my YouTube channel. So,
Hey.
How are you today?
I'm wonderful. I'm wonderful. It's interesting that you talk about a sense of self, because today I had an experience where my brand is my name, and my name is my brand, right? And I work really hard with my brand and how I express myself and how people know me and so forth. And I, earlier this week, made the mistake of, I get e-readings every day, and I have my online services. Most of my services now are via like video chat, so Skype, FaceTime, all of the above. I think one day now I only offer in-person sessions. And so I do offer e-readings for people who don't have time to wait, and they just need something, within a 3-day period. So I had accidentally clicked on send to junk mail folder on one of the e-readings, and it basically started to compile all of my e-readings into that junk folder over the last couple of days.
Oh,
and
my
I
gosh.
started to freak and flip out, because my name is my brand is my name. So I'm all about consistency. I'm all about delivering the same experience. I'm all about giving you exactly what I said I'm going to give you. And so as I went into my e-readings and found all the ones that went into junk folder, it was like 8 or 9 of them within the last 2 days. And I was like, holy crap. And so I had to personally email all these individuals. I'm so sorry. I'm running a few minutes. I'm running it like a day behind. I will have this out to you by the end of the day. You get to ask me two free questions, on me. So just ask away. So I had to recover myself.
Yeah.
But that's who I am. And it's weird, because when I worked at Starbucks, I was Starbucks. I was the name. I was the brand. And everything you do is a reflection of the company. Now it's just me and my business. So everything I do is a reflection of me.
Right.
What my assistant sends out in an email is a reflection of who I am.
Right.
All my videos are a reflection of who I am.
Right.
And it's an interesting place to be at, because all my life I've tried to conform and to become what others wanted me to become, to gain love. I had a conversation with my cousin a couple of weeks ago, in which I told her that the reason why I went over to their house as a kid and cleaned their house and did all these errands and chores for them was because I wanted their love. Aww. And she's like, I thought you just liked to clean. I was like, no. I was like, who the hell likes to clean? Like, no. I wanted your love. And so I did all these favors for you guys because I wanted your love. That's it. And she's like, I didn't know that. And here she was asking me for more favors, not realizing that's all I wanted from her was love, not the opportunity to do a favor. And I think it touched her, because she didn't realize that in that moment she was depriving me of something that I just wanted so simply and so purely. So, and today it's a very different story. I believe that you should be who you want to be, who you choose to be, and let others adjust to that. Yeah. Don't bend and flex to become something others want you to become, to be you. You be who you choose to be out of choice every moment, every day, when an opportunity presents itself to act a certain way, to think a certain way, to feel a certain way. Choose that. And that is who you are. That is who you become. And then the world will reflect that. The world will start to bend and flex and become what you need it to be. And the people who don't need to be around will leave. And the people who love you and authentically love you will stay.
Definitely.
Well, I mean, that kind of just goes along with the thinking that you need everybody to accept you.
Right.
So if you don't have like a strong sense of who you are, then you want to be accepted by every single body, and you want everybody to show you love. When in all actuality, like, everybody is not meant for you.
Right.
You know, so that kind of gets twisted along the way when you don't know exactly who you are and what it is that you have to offer.
Right. Right. I have a friend who's a very well-known psychic medium in the Houston area, and she's actually done a lot of radio. Very, very, very good. And we've had some interesting conversations because, and I've actually been helping her with her YouTube series. And she's very careful about what she says. And if she feels like she said something that may have made her look a certain way or may have created a situation where she doesn't want to be responsible for that, putting that out there, she'll text me, "Oh my God, I think I need to retract that." I'm like, "It's okay. I haven't finished yet. You know, you're going to be the person that says this is what you want going out or not. I don't get to choose that. I'm giving you the help and the helping hand, and you get to decide what you want to do." But and she says, Ferny, I can't do what you do. And I like to push the boundaries. I like to push the edge because for the first time in my life, I'm in a place where I get to be me, and I don't really give a flying fuck what other people think.
Right.
And I'm okay with that. And I know that some people are not going to like me. Some people are going to hate me.
Right.
But that is okay because maybe in their experience of hating me, they're uncovering some things about themselves that they may not like.
Yeah, because you know what? A lot of stuff is often a reflection of you. Like, if you find something in somebody else that you just really, really hate, like, chances are you have that same quality, and it may be just at a very a different level.
Right.
But it's definitely something that's like it's like a mirror image. Like, if you see something that you're like, why is she always doing this or whatever, it's like, because you may not even realize that you do the same thing, but it's just like at a different level. Right. You know, so.
And I mean, and that could be true for anything, really, because we all have so many different facets of ourselves, you know. But like, I guess thinking about like what you're saying about just being your authentic self, I kind of think about our show and how podcast listeners will always be like, "Oh, well, I don't like this show because of this and that. Oh, I hate it," instead of just saying, "That's just not something I want to listen to," because I just kind of feel like, you know, this is our show for us to create for you, and it's for free. So if you don't like it, you just don't like it, because we can only be who we are, you know.
Coming from that standpoint, though, just based off of the stuff that I read from people that actually listen to shows, it seems to be that they think that a show is catering to them just because they hit play.
Right.
You know, so it's like if a host has like maybe a little bit of a nasalish voice, something that they can't control, or if they have like their sound is a little bit off, or they're talking about something that they're not necessarily into, where it's like, "Oh, I don't like this show, I hate it, and I'm gonna tell everybody else that this show sucks," when it's simply just something that's not for you, and you're thinking that when I hit play, they are trying to reach me and trying to make me
only
happy.
You. This is for you.
Okay. Only me. I'm trying to make you happy.
Right.
You know, when
really it's for us. Really. I mean, we want you guys to listen, but this is our outlet to say all the shit that we talk to each other.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, you know, I think we live in a culture these days where everything has been designed to perfection. And I mean, like, growing up, I used to watch Nickelodeon and all these, and the acting, like, if you'll notice these days, if you look at acting, it totally sucks. You look at actors in Great Britain or the UK, they've got crooked teeth, they don't have perfect skin, they look all saggy skinned.
Because they're more like character-driven
But they're
actors.
real people,
Yeah.
and they are acting and having real emotions through the process. While here, you'll be watching a show in the U.S., and I'm like, girl, I'm waiting for that tear because that's going to make me feel like
you're
you
for
know
real.
what you're talking about. This is real. And it never happens. It never comes. And I'm like, damn, if only she would have just gone that extra step. But it's because that is the expectation we have, especially in the United States, where we all are supposed to be a certain way. You know, it's funny because I had this conversation. This conversation came up yesterday with my partner's mother, and you know, we were talking about, you know, people who are Asian and how, oh, if you go over to Asia, because our niece is going over to China and she's going to spend a month there and study. And so she was talking about all the different things she has to do there. A woman can't touch a male's hand at the same time. It's considered a sign of disrespect. You're not supposed to show the shoulder, all of these little details and stuff. And she says she wants to respect the culture while she's there. And so her mother, and her mother's a baby boomer. Her grandmother, my partner's mother, she's a baby boomer. And she says, well, why not? They don't respect our culture when we're here. And I said, well, what the hell kind of culture do you think we have here? People have this idea that America has a culture that is very specific, and that's the only thing you're allowed to be here. I'm like, America it's not a melting pot. We all just then come together and mix and become one culture. This is a cornucopia of different cultures. There is no one culture here. Right. There's no one thing that is just that's acceptable, everything else is unacceptable. That's not what America is. And a lot of people, and I think a lot of the people who are right now really struggling, is that they are trying to sustain this idea that was established in the 50s and the 40s about what America is and what happiness here is, and the American dream. The American dream is simply realizing who you are and fulfilling that to the highest expectation and the highest purpose you have for yourself, to reach the highest limits you have for yourself. That's the American dream. And that is in any way, shape, or form. It doesn't have to be a specific way. So that's America. That to me is my America.
Well, I think that we're sort of like drifting towards that. I mean, I think that for the longest, the American dream was, you get married, you have kids, you get a dog, you buy a house, you get a job, your wife stays home, she takes care of everything, and the husband, he pays for everything.
Right. And drives a Cadillac.
Yeah. Like that was the American dream.
I drive a Cadillac.
You drive a Cadillac.
But that's coming from the 40s and the 50s, and I think that was really created to boost morale after the war that they're coming off of.
But they needed something to strive for. They needed something to say, look, our life is amazing. It's amazing here. Everything is perfect and idealistic. And as much as it's like you look at all these perfectly manicured lawns, but I talk to a lot of people, and families were not like that. There's a lot of dysfunction in families. I mean, just a few days ago, I had a client whose family member committed suicide. And I got a lot of suicides, which is interesting. Suicide is a lot more prevalent than people realize.
Really?
Yes. Really? I mean, I literally, every day that I have a mediumship session, at least one individual in that session is going to be a suicide. But that's how often it comes up. But her family member committed suicide, and it turns out that he had some inappropriate activity with younger kids, and he just couldn't face it, so he killed himself. And so she didn't know him as that. She knew him as her brother, and she loved him and cared about him however he came. And so it was a rough conversation because he was acknowledging what he did, but at the same time, he's taking responsibility for it, but he's still like, I love you. Nothing changes that. He's like, we're all in the same place. And they really are all in the same place. And I know some people hate me for saying like, what do you mean? Like this guy, I'm like, they are all in the same place. Like,
I really believe that, though.
Yeah. What I say is, the other side is like this massive skyscraper, and there are like 200,000 floors. And some people are on the 16th floor, some people are on the 200th floor. I can have access to certain floors, but at some point, they're all there. They just have different floors they're on. And so in the front of the front of the tower doesn't say Trump, it says God. So it's a really good place to be, Yeah.
Some of you motherfuckers in the basement though.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and the thing is, you get to work your way up. You get to work through what you've done. There is never a point that God says you don't have the ability to redeem yourself.
Really? Even after you've crossed
That
over?
is the eternal forgiveness of God. That is the promise of the divine, that no sin is unforgivable. And you with me, because we see these people from human minds. God is not human.
Yeah.
God is way beyond that, and we could not even possibly comprehend what God can sense, what God can feel, what God knows. We are seeing it and judging it from a human experience.
And that's all we know.
Exactly. So. And so I have faith in the divine that it will turn out the way it needs to turn out.
So you can go higher, do better.
You can work your way. Yeah. What happens is they have jobs that they can take on there, because you don't just, you come to Earth, you experience your life here, you can work through things, but you can also work through things in spirit. It's a lot harder here. There's a lot more work. It's like boot camp. It's like, are you going to go and take a little like jogging class, or are you going to do boot camp? Which one are you going to get further along with? Probably boot camp. Life is boot camp. And when you get over there, especially with suicides, they get to help others who are in the same boat. So people who are here who are struggling and are considering suicide, that spirit is allowed to come in and be the thought, the voice of reason in that person's mind, saying, hey, you don't want to do it. Yeah. You have more to live for.
Wow.
And if they can help that person not switch, then they've given themselves an opportunity to elevate themselves.
So
because
like
they understand it from their perspective. They know it.
Bitch, I'm finna go up here to handbags. Y'all got me fucked up. I'm just kidding.
Level up, ho. Level up.
But you know what, Ferny? That reminds me of kind of our next point, which is like the pressure, like, and this is the way I looked at it when we talk about spirituality and kind of what you're taught as a child. Because I grew up in Catholic church, and it was like what you're saying is so taboo to say that. Yeah. And I recall the time that I stopped going to church. I was in 9th grade, and I was going to confirmation class. And I just wanted to ask questions about the stuff that we were learning, you know, because I've always been inquisitive, or I guess you could say nosy, whatever. But I wanted to know. Yeah. And I was told I could not ask questions. Yeah. And that was when I said, this is, 4 out of 5 teachers in this class
got me fucked up.
That's like the main problem that I have. It's like, you know, you're supposed to take all of this stuff in and just consider it to be golden information
and run with it and question nothing.
And you're not but you can question
everything else
in life. You can question everything else, but that one thing you can't question at all. Like that, something seems very strange and controlling about that.
You know, it's
that in the Bible.
It's interesting because I was in Catholic school and I went to class and I learned everything. What's interesting is I left the Catholic religion as it being my religion, and I ended up circling back and came back to it. Even though I'm not a practicing Catholic, but I have a lot of respect and faith in the religion itself, in the practice itself. But for me, it was this process of discovering myself and all of that. What I realized is like religion is like cooking utensils. You either know how to cook or you don't. And I've come to realize that a lot of the people who are in power don't know how to use the utensils, and so the food tastes sour. Ooh. So what you need to do is you need to learn. You need to teach yourself how to cook, how to understand the different flavors, the different textures, and then start to play and explore those different textures and flavors and components and bring it all together. And at some point you realize, you know what? The pots and pans do work. The fire is there for a reason, but they don't know what the hell they're doing with it. And I think that's the same feeling that I had with religion, was I had to explore myself. And I'm grateful that my sexuality helped me do that, because in becoming, being psychic, being a medium, I think was a lot easier than being gay. I think being gay was so hard. And because it wasn't just about me, like, oh my God, I'm something different. I'm not normal. I'm not supposed to be this way. People have expectations for who I'm supposed to be and what I'm supposed to do. They're expecting me to get married. They're expecting me to have all these children and to do so many things. And I mean, it was so bad where I have a step grandmother who helped to raise me, and I hadn't seen her for many, many years, and I came back because I wanted to establish a relationship with her. And I was the only one in the family that was trying to say, hey, you guys are being too hard on her. She had a right to be here. She took care of Grandpa. She has a right to be a part of the family. And I came back into her life, and I said, hey, there's some things I want to tell you about myself that you've never met before. You don't know about me. She said, stop right this minute. Don't say anything else. I don't want you to tell me what you're going to tell me. I want to remember you as you were. And I don't want what you're going to say to ruin that for me.
Oh my God.
And so in that moment I decided, I can't have you be part of my life, because you don't accept who I am. You accept who you wanted me to be. Yeah. And I had to turn away from that relationship. And I've had to do that with several other relationships in my life. But, it all comes back to you finding yourself through your own process, through your own faith. And I think me being gay helped me to question everything about myself. And then in questioning everything and exploring and reading and studying and my own personal experience, it helped me to come back to having faith again. But this faith is unshakable. It's unbreakable. It's real. It's not something that was told to me, hey,
and
you have to have faith.
In your mind.
Exactly. It wasn't made. It wasn't. I wasn't conditioned to have faith. I was. Life has taught me what faith is.
Right. it's like everything that
good
happens to you, and it's just like kind of like you said, it helps you develop who you are, and that's where you find out through your experiences, like you know, stuff that not necessarily miracles, but like things that you go through that kind of say, okay, yes, this is real. It might not be exactly what they told me, or it might be what they were telling me I can't ask about, but I do have faith in God. You know what I mean?
I think that collectively we are starting to drift away from just idealistic beliefs about religion, and people are starting to go the individual route and figure out like what's really best for them, and
not necessarily choosing a denomination to identify
and
with.
not necessarily just like going to church and saying, okay, well, pastor said, you know, and this is how I'm going to, you know, live my life. And that's basically how I was raised, though. I mean, I come from a very large family, and my grandfather was a preacher. I have like my grandmother and my grandfather had like 9 kids, and 5 of the boys, they're all preachers, you know. So like,
does everybody have their own church?
Not everybody had their own church. I think 3 of them have churches, but so we were in church like every week. You know, I mean, like we was. Oh, excuse me.
Girl, me too.
I know. Like, so we was. So I mean, all day Sunday, like all day
Saturdays and Wednesday Bible study, and that was
all
me.
of that stuff.
That was me
everything. Like, I mean, I was forced to sing in the choir. I remember having to lead. Yes, I had to lead a song. I was like probably about 8.
And they make you do
that
shit.
I was crying.
Girl,
I was
listen.
crying, singing "This Little Light of Mine." Like
that light was little, y'all. That light was little. It was a little ass light.
So it's like, so you know, I mean, it seems like we're drifting from conformity and starting to just really find our own individuality.
I think
like,
you're right.
As far as it goes along with religion and spirituality is concerned.
I would say you're right, because non-denominational church is like booming, basically.
Yeah, I mean, the power of now, law of attraction,
well, spirituality, and it's called spirituality, and spiritualism has been a idea-based religious kind of affiliation. It's like a host of ideas, but that came out of the like 30s and 20s, and that was from England, and the spiritualism and mediums and all this stuff. But now there's spirituality, which is you don't need to stick to one source. You can decide what works for you and what doesn't work for you. And I believe that we all internally have this thing within us that's called the human spirit. And I think that this thing within us has a guiding principle, and it lets us know what is okay and what is not okay. Not what's right or what's wrong, but what is okay for us and what is not okay for us. And we're all on different journeys. We're all on different paths. And some of our set of instructions or directions are going to lead us to where we need to go. So what may be okay for some people may not be okay for others. And that's okay, because they have their own set of instructions. They're here for a reason. That person has been born to give other people certain experiences to allow them certain awarenesses, certain ideas, certain perceptions about things in life that they may have never had before, had that person never been who they were.
Right.
Yeah, and the problem comes in is when we all think, well, we're supposed to be doing what Susie's doing.
Right.
It's just like when, you know, people who don't have children and they're like, well, that's what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to be,
I'm supposed to be a mother.
I'm supposed to be married. I'm supposed to be this, but you're not supposed to be doing shit except for what you individually are supposed to be doing. And you might not know what that is yet. So what we're supposed to be doing is playing a game. So, y'all ready?
You ready for the game?
Okay.
Like hot fire.
So
Hot fire.
The response, so this is called, what is it called again?
Danny, can you give the breakdown? Or you want me to give it?
It's called categories with a twist.
Okay.
So basically, I'm going to...
Sounds like a really bad trip to the bathroom.
So basically, it's just going to be like statements that you're going to have to answer. And how do you say your last name again?
Marron.
Marron.
But people say Marron.
Marron. Because I was like, I know that wasn't right. But okay, so you'll have to answer it with the first letter of your last name.
Okay.
Okay, so just as a test.
Okay. Test.
Something you wear.
Something I wear. That's hard.
Oh my God. Are you serious? Man pants.
Okay. So makeup. I can make up.
Pants.
I can make
say
up.
makeup.
You can make
Okay,
up
I
shit.
can make up shit.
Or you
Okay.
can say makeup.
Never
Even though you don't wear
fucking
makeup.
heard of
Man pants.
Fucking
Okay.
man
A
pants.
man romper.
Okay.
That's
Romp
not pants.
pants.
Rompers
Yeah.
are shorts, first of all.
Yeah.
You could have said
That's
just
a short
makeup.
set.
A man. I wear a man.
You could have just
You
said
wear a
makeup.
man?
I wear a man. Okay,
Not,
yeah.
It's not necessarily.
Sometimes I have.
It's
yeah.
not necessarily you specifically. Like it's not like something Fernando wears.
Okay.
It's just something you
Ferny wears.
in general
Something I
wear.
wear. Okay.
You could have said makeup.
So I'm going to set the timer
Okay.
to.
Oh, there's time. Okay.
You gonna
Yeah.
give the questions?
Oh Lord.
Yeah, okay. So we're gonna see how many you can. You got to be quick.
Okay,
You got to be
quick.
quick on it. You
Okay.
got to
She'll
be
probably
quick on
read
it.
them to you
Jeez.
slowly, but you got to be quick.
Oh gosh. Help me, Spirit. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All
They
right.
gonna give him all the answers. Damn.
You would think, right? You would think they were like that. They're not. I'm like, hey guys,
Stingy.
I have a question. You ain't working now. We ain't helping you.
They
Wait.
doing this
Okay. Thanks.
for nothing.
For nothing.
Fuck.
All right. So we're gonna see how many you can answer in 30 seconds.
Okay.
All right. You ready?
Okay. With an M. Jeez. Okay.
Okay. Reason to drink.
Men.
Nice.
I have you.
Nice.
Do. You drink
I
because
did.
of
I
men.
did.
You do.
Okay. So I never date someone who is.
Why the fuck is this game so hard?
Marbles. Okay.
Musty. Okay.
Musty. Okay.
Something that's hot.
Hot. Men. Okay.
Is that gonna be your answer every time?
No, I mean,
said me.
you fit it. Okay.
Me.
Okay.
Word that could describe a fart.
A fart?
Yeah.
Macy? I don't
Murky?
Okay.
Murky, yes.
Something you can't
Ew.
live without.
something I can't live without. Mariah Carey.
Mariah Carey.
Okay.
Now,
Okay,
see, he
that's
That's
was
really not. That's really not true. I can live without Mariah.
That's,
but
that was
not old
men.
Mariah, but new Mariah can live without her.
Oh, I did something to the goddamn timer.
See, the spirit. That spirit helping you
They
right
helped
there.
you. Yep. I
See,
told
there
you
it
they
is.
was
They
gonna
helped
help you.
Why gotta do it? Oh, okay.
Look, they didn't give you no answers, but they helped you on time. You
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
You
we
good.
would. Okay, I've messed it up. Okay. Where was I at?
a
She was
song
setting
you could
you up
sing
for
to your
failure.
partner.
A song I sing to my partner.
Mm-hmm.
Mary Had a Little Lamb. Yeah.
A reason to be late.
A reason to be late. My ass is too fat.
Okay.
I am not about to play.
Porn name.
A porn name. Mammy pants.
What's wrong with you? Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. A vacation spot.
Oh, Mexico.
Okay. I was just about to say you just went there.
I
but
know,
okay.
right? Yeah.
Okay, last one. Sexual act.
I quit.
You're not even playing.
But this is the second time.
Masturbation. I'm not
I
even
did
gonna do
give
this.
you,
I'm not
yeah.
even gonna do this with
See,
you.
You know what?
See, you know, it's funny because here I am, this like very spiritual person, and I can connect with spirit, but I can be real slow sometimes.
Little blonde.
blonde.
underneath.
Yeah, exactly.
underneath.
Blonde.
Le blonde?
Blonde.
A little blonde.
blonde.
Oh, I thought you said
Little
LeBron.
blonde.
I was like LeBron.
You got
What
it.
if that's
Yes.
your new
It's
nickname?
okay.
LeBlanc.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
Maybe this game is difficult for people who have to use the letter M.
Maybe so.
Because there was the same shit last time. Poe Greg was like,
Lord.
and we were like, masturbation. And he was like, oh, yeah.
Yes.
He's like, I really don't play with myself, but yeah.
All right. So we were supposed to, first of all, thank you, Ferny, for answering. You gave it all your effort.
I did. I really hard. It was hard.
It was.
Mammy Pants is going to live in infamy.
Mammy pants.
So terrible.
I know. What the fuck? Okay.
She's
but
wearing mammy pants. That's what those are. Mammy pants.
let me find out. That's a skirt.
But they could be called mammy pants.
Oh my God. No.
So you just made some shit up. Okay.
Again.
So we were supposed to do our comfort zone challenge. Now I failed so far because I have not yet recorded my song. I was gonna sing it to y'all now, but Danielle gave me the look like, "Don't you do it."
I'm good.
Okay, so Danielle, do you want to talk about the results of your comfort zone challenge?
I was going to say you could talk about the other one that you
talk about the results of her
Oh,
pregnancy test.
I did have another one.
Better be nigga.
The one that I had thought of before I said the other thing was to talk to Fernando about something personal, because I've been kind of scared to do it because I'm a scary bitch. But that same week we did the mediumship, and I felt really, really good afterwards. And I felt like a release of like a life, not lifelong, but like 16, 17 years worth of stress, because, you know, I kind of got to talk to my dad. Aww. So that was really cool.
Aw.
You know, like hearing this on this side, because I've never had that experience where I've had a spirit come through and connect, and I've experienced it directly, but it's me in my mind. So I don't have any validation that it's not me.
Yeah,
but when I do it for others, there's the validation there. So I've never been on that end of it where I get to talk to someone that I would like to talk to and connect. Yeah, and connect in that way yet. I'm sure the opportunity will come up at some point, but I don't get to be on that side. So I don't know what that really feels like to have that release. Yeah. And people say it's such a release. It's such a comfort to know certain things. And I'm like, I don't know what that feels like on that end, because I've never been on that end.
Yeah. Well, if you ever get the chance.
Yeah, if there's one of your psychic friends you like trust.
See,
how does that work? Because,
I have friends that are psychic and are mediums, but I've not run into another medium like myself where I
who's good and shit.
Well, no.
Don't say it, Fernando.
He about to throw all the shade.
It's like the level of message that comes through is that extensive or that specific, and I really try to be specific. So I'm like, I want someone that's going to give me the same situation. Yeah,
catch that shade, bitches.
Definitely. And it was weird because there were some things like from the other, like I had like a bunch of males trying to come through, but there were some things that I remembered later. And I was like, man, I wish I would have been able to recall it at the time, you know.
And that happens all the time. It's called psychic amnesia. Like in the moment, you're like trying to think so quickly. Like the M, you were asking me questions. I had psychic amnesia right there. I couldn't figure it out. And it's so easy. Masturbation. Duh, sex, masturbation. So it's so easy. But in the moment, you get stuck and you don't know how to react or how to respond. And that's why I say it's so important that we record these sessions, guys, because you can go back and you can catch some of that. And what you see on TV, I mean, they show you like it's a 45 1-hour session. They show you like 3 or 4 minutes of it, and that's all that gets on TV. Yeah. But they show you a highlight. But they don't show you all the stuff that happens after the fact or what a reading actually looks like. Yeah. So you don't know what it really looks like. You have this idea that every single moment is supposed to be mind-blowing. It's not like that. Yeah. It's like if I'm sitting next to you and we're having a conversation, is everything that comes out of your mouth going to be mind-blowing?
Absolutely.
You may say one thing and I'll be like, wow, that's interesting that she said that. And the rest of the conversation is just a normal conversation. But then stuff starts rolling in your head after the fact. It's the same way. Mm-hmm. That's a real connection. And that's why I do the videos, because I want people to see what it is and what it isn't and be true to its nature.
Yeah.
And then to be able to go back. Yeah. Like that's a...
Yeah. And when we do our update video, you'll be able to share what you got out of that. Yeah. Or what you were able to connect with after the fact. And we're like, what the hell was I thinking?
Yeah. There was a lot. I was like, oh, shit. Yeah. Like the other guy, I was like, I don't know who that could be. The hell? And then I was like, oh, I totally know who that is. Like later, like as soon as I hung the phone up, I was like, fuck. Yeah. I knew who it was. There's still some things that I'm like, I don't know what that is. But
and that's okay. That means and not everything. Well, but that would be me trying to make it fit. Some things I just may not have communicated that properly.
Yeah.
I had a reading with a woman last week. And she was a bitch. I mean, she was really, really nasty because she wasn't trying to help me understand what I was sensing. Because I only see so many things. I don't see your whole life. I don't know what the hell's going on in your life. I only see, what I get. And it's bits and pieces, you know. And if someone brings me a pear and they say, here, this is part of a meal, I don't know what the whole meal consists of. I just know there's a pear, you know.
Yeah. Right.
So I'm trying to tell her everything that I'm sensing, and she's talking in code throughout the entire reading. And I'm like, what? And I even called her out on it. I said, you seem to be talking in code, like you're not trying to understand what it is I'm expressing or sharing with you. And it's like you're not getting what this is. did you watch my videos? Did you
Yeah.
even go on and familiarize yourself with my process? Because you must have a different idea for what this is going to be and what this is not going to be.
Well, she probably didn't want to give you too much
she
information.
didn't, and I get that, and
Yeah.
I'm okay with that, which is why I spend 10 or 15 minutes talking before you have an opportunity to open your mouth. Once you have an opportunity to open your mouth,
No,
girl, you better talk.
absolutely.
Because we have 15 minutes left for me to help you understand what this is in reference to and where this
Exactly.
fits, so that you can make sense of your life. I'm trying to help you. And I already did my part and gave you 15 minutes of me talking and sharing what I had to share. Now's your chance to talk.
Make it relate,
Make
bitch.
it work.
Right.
Make it work, yeah. And
Make
some
it
of
relate.
some of
Twirl, bitch. Twirl. Twirl, bitch.
and some things I may be incorrect with, but she was very, I said, I see a relationship for you, but I feel like there's going to be a disconnection, or there's going to be some time apart during the mid-year. And then towards the end of the year, I feel there's a reconnect, but you guys come to a conclusion that you're going to go your own separate ways, or you're going to see other people. And so she's like, well, and can you tell me anything else more specific? I'm like, that's pretty specific, but okay.
Bitch, really?
And so I gave her as much as I could, but she was like, well, I just got out of a relationship. I actually just broke up with my fiance. And I'm like, okay, so that's the breakup. Y'all are
like,
going to
duh,
get back
bitch,
together temporarily, and then y'all are going to go your own separate ways, but you have to come to that realization towards the end of the year. Well, am I going to have any children? I'm like, well, I'm seeing the number 2, so I'm assuming there are 2 children. So how many children do you have now? Well, it's complicated. I'm like, well, what's complicated about that?
Complicated
I'm
children?
like, okay.
That's
And
like
she says,
almost
well,
pregnant,
yeah.
kind of pregnant.
And so she says, and she says, well, am I going to have 2 children myself naturally? I'm like, okay, well, I'm confused, but I feel, and I kept seeing someone else carrying children. So I didn't see her with children. I see someone else carrying the children. So I said, well, I'm seeing 2 children, and I feel like they're carried by someone else. So I'm seeing 2 children in your life. And she says, well, my fiance has 2 children. I'm like, okay. And so she says, well, how am I going to have these children? I'm like, I don't know. You might have somebody carry them for you.
Or you might already have the
Or
two
you may already
children
have them.
that
But
are
see,
carried by somebody
in my
else.
mind, they were showing me a woman carrying children that wasn't her. So Spirit was simply trying to tell me, Ferny, like, she's got 2 children in her life, but they're not hers by birth,
Natural.
but they are her children. So if she's going to marry this guy, she needs to take responsibility
But
for that.
that could be part of why
But
they're
in my mind,
having
and
so
I,
many
yeah,
issues.
and I was trying to make sense of it, and I was like, well, you might be having, in vitro or something else. I don't know, but I don't feel like you're carrying these children. But I've seen the 2 children.
That bitch knew what it was.
But she reacted, and she was like, this isn't, none of this, nothing that you're saying makes sense to me. And I'm like, okay, well, you're obviously not enjoying your session, and I don't want to waste any more of your time. So thank you so much for our 30-minute session, because you're not going to get a refund because you waited 30 minutes. But, thank you so much for the
Bitch,
time.
my time.
Savage.
Now, yeah. Remember, this was recorded. You will be able to go back and reference some of those things, and whatever you can connect with in the moment, you might understand later on. So she went ahead and it's like, okay, whatever, bye, and we clicked off. And it took me 2 days to get past that. And I am
such a
talking about
Taurus.
you have to sustain your sense of self, right? But I'm still human, and if someone says something, there's a battle that happens within my mind that I have to hold on to who I am and who I want to be, and choose that, or I'm going to let her get the best of me and have her turn me into something I'm not. Mm-hmm. And there was that battle going on for 2 days in my mind. So even though I'm telling you, hey guys,
just cuss her out loud and let it go.
And I'm saying, hey, I don't give a flying fuck what other people say, and I really don't. But it still affects me, and that's my conditioning.
It's offensive though, but that's offensive.
Well, she can be offended all she wants. She can defend me all she wants.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like, she's not coming back. I blocked her. So, but
this motherfucker.
But at the same time, because I don't like, you were nasty. You could have said, well, it doesn't make sense to me, but okay.
I'll give it a chance.
That's
Let
fine.
it marinate.
Let it sit with you.
Yeah.
Understand
Block
that
and
this may
delete,
not make
bitch.
sense in the
Block
moment.
and delete.
Yeah. But, it still affected me for 2 days, and I had to spend 2 days choosing who I was going to be versus choosing who I was going to be because of what she said. And that's me. That's the work. We're here talking about wanting to be who you want to be and choosing that. But it's not just simply like, oh, well, this is who I'm going to be. That's it. Problem solved. No, you have to encounter this in the real world and put it to use and practice and do the work. Yeah. So it's not just like, I choose to be this and that's it. No, you have to practice
work.
It's work. It's work. It's work to choose yourself over pain. It's work to choose yourself over what someone else is trying to demean you to.
Yeah.
I can already tell you what happened in her relationship. She wants her own kids desperately.
She wants control.
He has
Mm-hmm.
kids. Yeah. And he's like, I'm good. And she desperately wants to be someone's natural mom.
And she probably has an issue with the 2 kids any fucking way.
Yeah.
So fuck
Which I
her.
feel bad for the kids because she's like not even considering them part of her, like her children.
Yeah.
And they're engaged, and I'm like,
She needs
you
to
might
not
want
be
to
a
have
part
a
of their
relationship
life.
with them kids before you get married.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Or you're like, not them.
yeah.
Because they're like, ugh.
Yeah.
No, that's good. It probably saved them kids some heartache.
But
Fuck her.
my reaction to her was very professional. Behind the scenes, I'm like, you bitch, you know.
Bitch,
But
yes.
in reacting to her and talking to her, it all has to be professional because even if I don't like you, I'm going to try to work with you in the moment we have to do that. And then after we're no longer involved, then that's when I can be who I want to be.
Yeah, but there's a certain level. Like, you're coming to somebody for a service. Like, you don't have to be rude and or unprofessional. Like, this is your job. You're a professional at what you do. As long as you treated her professionally while you're having the reading, bitch, you don't have to be rude. And you don't have to treat
But you know what? That's a
unprofessionally.
good point because, and what I was saying earlier, if you choose to be a certain person, the people who support that will leave, and the people who support that will stay. The others will leave.
That's why you're not getting married, bitch.
Well, in all the videos that I put out,
Fuck
and in
her.
the way that I've done my website, and everything that I promoted myself in and showed, hey, this is who I am. People who come to me, they know that already.
Yes.
They've done their homework, and so a majority of my clients do know who I am,
Exactly.
and they appreciate that.
There's
every now and then one person will get through, and I'm like, why are you here, bitch?
Who the fuck let you in?
Why?
How you slip past security?
But with what I was saying earlier, whatever gets through is a lesson from the universe to prepare you for something grander.
Yeah.
And she was teaching me a lesson in that moment. And I have to honor and respect that was the whole point of the interaction, was I was supposed to learn something about myself. And she was learning something about herself, whether she realized it or not.
Yeah, that's
so
not
I'm
up to
grateful
you.
for the experience. It may happen once every other 2, 3, 4 months, but I'm grateful for the experience nonetheless.
I'm with you.
All right, we done deviated like way too long.
Oh, yes.
Well,
yes. It was the mammy pants. They got me all
You know what?
crooked.
First off,
so I'm just going to say this. We didn't learn shit last time because we got this same ass, weak ass 11% wine, Bordeaux. Then I'm going to give it a score, and then everybody, I want to hear what your number is. I'm giving it. I'm doing well. You don't drink.
count.
I don't
You don't
drink.
count. I'm sorry.
That's why I tried to give you the least. I'm going to give it a 7. I'm going to pull a Sharonda. I'm giving it a 7.
A full fucking 7. That's what's up.
I'm sick of this shit. SICK.
well, to me, this wine it didn't really have much to it. Like it was real light. It was real. It was flavorless.
Just like
Very oaky. Yes.
the last one, I feel like I don't like Bordeaux.
I
If
do
the
like
next
Bordeaux,
person who
but-
brings it in
but
here,
I
I'm gonna
don't
hit you
like-
with it.
I've had
But this is
like-
also a blend too. That may have
No.
something to do.
Well,
no?
they're all-
Okay.
well,
Well,
they're
then
all blends,
I
so-
retract my fucking statement. Goddamn. What these
No,
problems?
really, it feels just like the last one that we had that was flavorless.
Would you like to go outside and throw the bottle somewhere?
I'm about
Just
to fight the wine outside
Yes,
of Naya's house.
outside Naya's house.
Okay, but real life, I think 20, just because it was kind of meh.
Motherfucker, did you go from a 7 to a 20?
I was
wouldn't even
giving it a
get that.
real score.
I thought 7.
I mean, it didn't have
No.
much of a. Well, the smell was a little bit on the musky. I didn't
Yes.
I didn't really like the smell of it, and it's really. It didn't have much of a balance to it or anything. Like
Yeah.
it was like you don't really taste like the grapes of it. Like it's kind of like blah. So I give it a 3 because I was thirsty. It quenched my thirst.
The motherfucking. This was some water wine, y'all. This was water wine.
It's not morning wine.
No, it's not morning wine. I wouldn't even do that. Like I would mix it with vodka.
You know what? It reminds me of.
Why would you see? I thought.
I
What do
think
you mean, like, because it doesn't have much to like it probably would mix very well with like a raspberry.
just put it in a
the-
sangria. Just go and throw it in.
You-
there.
well, you could-
throw
I
it in the
could mix
sangria.
it.
Telling you, it tastes like a limerita.
Well, it does have lemon,
Yeah.
or something in it. So
It
like,
tastes
yeah,
like a limerita.
yeah.
That's what it
So,
tastes
but
like.
yeah, I would probably mix this with that. You can make a sangria with this one. Yeah,
margarita.
It wouldn't be a great one, but it'd be.
You would have to
the-
add like.
You'd have to
several
do
other-
so much, yeah,
Yeah,
so
like
much
what
fruit
you-
and fruit juice.
Yeah, fruit
Some
and
sugar.
actual alcohol.
Yes,
and just
it's actual.
actual alcohol.
Well,
like,
let's not forget, it is 11.5%. Michelle
Yeah.
don't fuck around. So
Okay, but the last Bordeaux was actually like 11 flat.
was it really?
it?
That the morning wine.
But I like that one better than I like.
But
this
it
one.
was refreshing, like morning wine. So yeah,
Like some water in the morning.
no, this is like Ooh, I'm thirsty. Let me get some water real quick.
Oh, okay. So
See, yeah.
Jen's over there telling me lemon water. Yes.
Lemon water.
Okay. Do you have a score though?
I mean, do you like it or nah? I'm gonna go with nah.
Okay. Ferny, did you like it?
I give it a 2.
Y'all not even giving it a whole score.
I give it a 2.
A 2.
A 2. Because
So
I
we
was
got-
served it twice and I drank it twice. But that's pretty much. I
So
drank
one
it,
per cup.
But didn't experience it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what? I saw St. Clair at Walgreens.
No, you did not.
I did.
No, you did not. Which
Y'all know I
Walgreens?
be at Walgreens buying wine.
But
okay?
you didn't take a picture
Where?
or
Which
buy it?
Walgreens?
No, it was the one by in Richmond where I went where I picked up the
Oh.
14 hands, but I was like, I don't know what to get.
Got it.
But they don't have the nebibly.
No,
Well, they
Lord.
changed that, so now it's like
Blah, blah,
Navarro
blah, blah.
or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did she ever send you that?
She never did send me that wine.
See?
Fuck that bitch.
She was just getting ready to mail it, and then she's like, "I'm about to put this in."
You
the
know what? Fuck her and her mammy pants.
I'll bring
Mammy
yeah.
pants.
Yes. I'll bring you some. When I go, I'll bring you some. I stock up.
Please do. And tell what's her name?
I don't know what her name is. Fuck her. Her name is.
That's 2 fuck hers.
Okay, so Ferny, where can everybody find you?
So if you want to find me, you can find me on YouTube at Fernando Marron. Just type in Fernando Marron Psychic and I'll pop up.
Because he's
yes.
he's the
Or
best.
you can just go to my website and that takes you everywhere. So you
Okay.
can find me on my website at www.fernandomarron.com. That's a Fernando, Fernando, Marron, Marron.com. You can go to my Facebook where I'm about to launch the training course within this month. Finally, I committed myself to like February and then we're now in like May.
It's okay.
So
It's okay.
Takes time. Greatness takes time.
I know. And so and then Twitter, you can follow me on Twitter. But definitely check me out on YouTube.
You know what? I just immediately in my head, all I can see is a bunch of fake psychics running around. Like I was trained by Fernando.
Oh my God, shut up.
Call me now.
I will not take credit for that. I will not. Yeah.
Motherfuckers we know gonna be like, I'm sorry, I'm tapped into my psychic
Look,
abilities.
with a
Don't do
certificate
me.
and shit, bitch. I took 3 days. What, bitch? I am for
Certificate.
real.
You know what's funny?
I'm a psychic.
Oh my God. You know what? In the first part of the course, I spent like 30 minutes talking about how you ain't here to outdo me. You ain't here to be nothing special. You ain't
bitch,
here to
you
be
are
on
the
TV.
students.
You are here to learn. And if you're not here to learn, then you need to get your money back because this is not the right reason to be here.
Red for filth on the first day of class.
Okay,
for
you are
Bill.
so feisty. Like,
He can't help it.
You know, because you know why? Because I'm talking to myself. That's what I used to be like. And so I'm talking to myself and telling these people, don't waste my time. Don't
First
waste
of all,
your
bitch,
time.
you are never going to be as good as me. Okay? That's number 1.
okay.
Bitch, I am the
Bow down to
Yes.
That's
King
funny.
Bull,
Recognize
the
greatness
psychic
when you see
medium,
it.
and Ricky Hiller.
It ain't real because he ain't got no pinky ring.
Fall down.
Oh my God!
No, you know what?
He might have one. You don't know
have
that.
a
You don't
chair.
know his life.
I have my chair. Have y'all seen my chair?
No.
For my birthday, like just a week ago, for my birthday, they gave me a director's chair. So it says Ferny Psychic Medium, and it's a director's chair. And I get to
Oh,
sit on there,
shit.
and I get to be high.
That's
Yeah.
his pinky ring.
There it is.
There
That's
it is.
all he
I didn't
needed.
ask for it. They're like, hey, you want one of those? Like, hell yes, I want one of those.
So they could sit below you. Bitch, know your place.
Oh, true.
I'm not mad.
Oh my God. Let's wrap this up.
Okay, so if you want to find us, you can also go to our website, betweenusgirlspodcast.com, and it'll take you everywhere, like Fernando said. I pretty much think that's about it for this episode. Just make sure that you go to iTunes, leave us a review, go to SoundCloud, make sure you subscribe, follow us on Twitter, join our Facebook group. There's a lot of conversation going on in there. A lot of it doesn't make sense, but some of it is great. Just search Between Us Girls in the groups. And as always,
Bye.
Thank you for joining us on Between Us Girls. But don't keep it a secret. Listen and share with everyone you know. See you next week.